Start. You ready?
It's going.
Hey, Joy, it's Kathy and Amy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. So, how are you feeling?
Perfect. 100% perfect.
All right. So, let's go back and tell me, how did you hear about Dr. Namey? When did you hear about him?
So I heard about him from my sister, and she lives in Canton, Ohio. And one of her friends had gone to him and had good experiences, so she recommended that I try him. I think I heard about him maybe in July because I came up in August of last year.
Okay.
So maybe the beginning of August.
All right. And so you're a nurse, right?
Yep.
All right. And then I was here when I met your mom. She was in the waiting room. I hadn't met you then because you were already in the exam room at Dr.
Yeah.
Namey's office. And I remember
Right.
your mom was out in the waiting room crying and praying, and I didn't know what to say to her, of course, because
And I was in there for so long, so she was so nervous.
right. So give me the background of why you came to see him.
Oh, do you want like the short version or
the long version, whatever you have time for, and then I'm sure.
Okay, so background on me. I'm a nurse. I'm super healthy. Always ran, exercise. I'm a mom, so always busy, running around, endless energy. So one night I was sitting on my couch, and this was in April of 2016, and I was charting, doing some work on my couch, and I felt like someone popped me right in my chest, like a punch almost, and it took my breath away, and then I could feel my heart rate just going through the roof, which was so weird for me because it only went up when I exercised. And then it came down, and then it just kept happening and happening, and my oxygen was decreasing because I'm a nurse. I know like what to check, and I could tell that I was struggling for air. And normally, I mean, I can go forever. I can run and never get tired. I couldn't even walk up 6-7 stairs, and I was gasping for breath, and my heart rate was like 150, 180, and it was just crazy. So I go to the ER, and they knew that it was high, but my tests were pretty much okay. I think they thought I was having a panic attack, and they were just teaching me how to relax, and then they sent me home. So then a couple of days later, it just kept getting worse, So I called my PCP, and he recommended getting me on a Holter monitor. And he said that way they could catch and see if I was going out of rhythm, what was going on, all that. So I came to the hospital that morning, and I do home health, but I work out of the office. My office is there. So I was down in the basement of the hospital, and I was going to walk upstairs to EKG to get hooked up to the monitor. And my coworkers were like, "You're like blue. You look really bad." I'm like, "I'm fine, I'm good. I'm just going to go get set up." So one of them walked up with me because she thought I was going to crash. So I got into EKG, and then they wouldn't even set me up because I looked so bad, and they just sent me straight to the ER. So I went to the ER. Everything was just out of whack, but they didn't really know what to do with me. So then they admitted me, and they just kind of ran tests on me, but nobody had any idea why it was happening. They could see it, but they didn't have any good answers. So then after I was in the hospital for a few nights, I just started getting really bad. I just got really, really, really bad to the point that I got life-flighted, and they sent me up to Pittsburgh. And I don't remember a whole lot of that, but I was in their ICU for about 8 days and had doctors coming in and out, cardiologists, pulmonologists, electrophysiologists, and they were all basically just saying, we can see that your heart's doing this crazy stuff and you're breathing, but we don't know why. They just kept saying it was an arrhythmia, it was inappropriate, sinus tachycardia, basically. It's happening and we don't know why. So they started me on some meds and they sent me home. And then it was just downhill from there. Nothing worked. They did 2 different ablations on me. They did an ablation in September where they went in and they tried to burn off the part that they thought was bad. It worked for about a month, and then all my symptoms came back in multitudes, so much worse. So they said, well, we think we just didn't get it enough. We didn't go far enough. So I agreed to have another one done. And then whenever they went in there, they said, okay, that spot is okay, but now you have another bad spot. So now we need to burn that spot. And then they did that. And they told me there was a possibility that if they couldn't get it, then maybe I just needed to get a pacemaker to get it under control. So after the procedure, it was about 8 hours I was under. They come in the room and they just said it didn't work.
Oh my gosh.
It just didn't work. We can't. They said the area that we need to get to, that we think we need to get to, if we do it, there's a possibility that we could paralyze the phrenic nerve, which controls your diaphragm. So they said if we go in and we do it, we don't know that it's going to work, and there's a risk that you're going to end up being on a vent forever. But we can try. And I was like, well, I think I want to try that. And the first two didn't work anyway. And they tried. I mean, they tried so hard. And in between this, I was seeing cardiologists that were trying a boatload of meds, and nothing worked. No, stuff would work for a couple days, and I thought, okay, this is it, and then it would just all come back. So I finally, after they told me it wasn't going to work, went back to my cardiologist, and he said, well, maybe we just need to go in and ablate your whole SA node, which is like your heart's natural pacemaker, basically, and then just give you a pacemaker and just let that be it, and then you can rely on that. And at 30 years old, that's kind of scary, because that's what I'm going to rely on forever, just a pacemaker, you know?
Right.
The biggest thing was I wanted a why. Like, why is this happening? And nobody could give me a why. Not one person. How does a healthy girl, your heart just goes bad overnight and you can't breathe? Like, how can I go from running to
this?
I can't do anything. I can't do anything.
Right.
And it just, I don't know. I mean, so I was kind of getting to the lowest point. I don't know that I ever thought that I could get that low. I was getting more life insurance out of myself because I didn't think that I was going to live. I really felt like many times during the night I would have these horrible episodes where I didn't think I was going to wake up. My poor baby had to call 911 because I couldn't breathe.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was horrible. And the night before my 31st birthday, so this was July 29th, I'm laying in bed and I wasn't having thoughts of like hurting myself, but I was begging God to just let me die, because I felt so worthless as a mother and as a person, and I felt like I was in a body that I was just trapped. It wasn't even mine anymore. I went from being able to be super nurse and super mom to I can't even walk up the stairs. I can't play outside with you. And I felt like just my worth was gone. And he didn't let me die. He didn't do it. So then my sister finally, and I had this conversation with my older sister, and was like, I just want God to kill me because I don't want to live in this body anymore. And she was just heartbroken, and she's like, I know you're very medical and your medicine and your surgery because that's how we're trained. She said, but I want you to go try this guy. And so my mom and I drove to Cleveland, and there we are.
So you came to Cleveland, what day was that? In
the end of August. I don't remember the exact date.
So you made an appointment to see Dr. Namey, and then what happened at the appointment?
I cried a lot.
Yeah.
So I went in and just kind of told him everything that was wrong, and he assessed me for a very long time, he took his time, asked me questions, checked everything over. He did the acupuncture.
So he does MRA, Meridian Regulatory Acupuncture.
Yeah.
Measures the meridians, right? All that stuff.
Did all of that. And then he checked my back and checked all kinds of ortho different things to see, what was out of place. And he just worked on me for a very long time. And then whenever he was done, he had me go walk and kind of test it to see if everything that he did worked. And I knew the second that I got off the table, it was like something was different. I could finally felt like I could take a deep breath for the first time in like over a year and a half. Like I could just breathe. And then I walked outside all the way around the building, and I was okay. And
I remember you jogging around the building. I said, where did the patient go? And he said, I told her to go test her heart. I said, what? I was so puzzled. And then I saw you running.
And I can't really explain to you the extremes of how bad it was whenever I would even just try to walk, especially with the heat. We were in the dead of summer, and I couldn't walk from somewhere to my car. I couldn't walk up 5 steps without me gasping for air and my oxygen going to the 70s.
Wow, that's pretty low. So tell me, what point when he was treating you that you knew you were okay? Did he say something? Did he do something?
Whenever he was working on so he told me that a lot of times when people, younger have arrhythmias and issues, it's a lot of times that it's like a musculoskeletal thing. Something's out of place. Something's wrong, pushing on something. And when he was doing his magic on my back and everything back here, he moved something and did something, and it was like, it was like God just put the air back into my lungs, and my heart was just like, you got it. Like, I knew it. I think I even said it. I was like, you got it. And I just knew it. And I mean, after I went outside in the heat and was jogging around the building like a crazy person, and then I came back in and he checked my rhythm and my rate, and it was just better. And it's been better since. I mean, I have not had one episode. I haven't been on a medication since the end of August. I work out every day. I can.
So that's August last 2017. All right.
Yeah.
So then, of course, you can't take the medicine anymore because that'll drop your heart rate, and then you could go bye-bye. We don't want that to happen. So what did the doctor say?
I was on so much medicine. I was on such high doses because they just kept increasing stuff to try to manage my symptoms, because they didn't want it getting too high, So I called my doctors and said, I'm not, because you made me. So you have to call your doctors and tell them you're not taking your medicine anymore. So I did let them know, and I never took another heart medicine again.
You're off your med. Did you go back to them? Did you go let them check you, or you didn't care enough?
I didn't, and I probably should have. As a nurse, I guess I should have.
And they didn't ask any questions? You've been going through this forever. Do they not?
I mean, they asked about it, and I told them, and I think it's just what happened was so different than what we're used to, and even than what I was used to. It was almost hard to explain everything without sounding kind of crazy, I guess, in a way.
It's not the normal procedure. It's not the normal doctor.
Yeah. So I was at the point, though, but I didn't really care because I tried everything. I tried everything medical. And I really believe that they tried to do the absolute best they could for me. They just didn't know what to do with me. Right. So I wasn't about to take any more medicine.
Right. And MRA is a medical treatment, so you did come in for the medical. But then did you feel anything spiritual? What's the turning point? What would you tell people if they asked you about Dr. Damey? What would you say?
He's a gift from God, and he saved my life. I could tell he cared. I mean, he prayed over me, and he hugged me. And when he was doing the treatment, when I was holding whatever that thing's called, and I was telling him, that I didn't want to live like this anymore, and I felt like my life was just not my own. And I mean, I was just crying to him, saying, I don't want to live like this. And he was telling me that my life was worth something, and not to think that way, and that God's going to get me through this. And I think I just needed to hear that from somebody else, because I've heard it from so many people in my circle. But from him, it felt different. Like, he really believed it, and he really believed he could help me. And he did, So I would just say that people need to give something else a try. If something's not working, go get another opinion. Don't just settle.
Right.
And I'm very glad that I did.
So your whole life has changed.
Oh my gosh, and I have such a different perspective on it. I've always been a pretty happy person, but I think now life is just such a gift. And I don't think that there's a ton of 29, 30-year-olds that go through something where they feel like, I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I don't know if my daughter's going to find me dead. And I felt that for a year and a half, just terrified to even go to sleep. My parents terrified all the time for me that they were going to get a call from my daughter. And it's like God gave this life back to me, and I've never appreciated anything the way that I do now. Just every moment is such a gift, and I think it's made me such a better nurse. And I have so much more empathy for people, and I can kind of understand that low feeling
Right.
that people talk about it and they say, okay, you're going to be fine, it'll be fine, but you don't understand how people feel until you're in that moment. And I get that now, and I think I just can love on people and pray for them, and it's in such a different light. I can't really.
It's rewarding. You know what,
Yeah.
Joy? I think you're going to touch millions of lives. I don't know why, but your story is so real. It's compelling. It's moving, and it's something that you came to the lowest of the low in your life, and look how God lifted you. He literally lifted you.
I don't want it to seem like he was like it's not like he was my last effort, but I needed somebody else to tell me that there's nothing we can do, and he wouldn't give me that. Like he wouldn't say there's nothing else we can do, and that's all I wanted from him. Honestly, I just wanted one more person to say, you are this sick, we really can't help you. And then he didn't give me that, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? You can help me, or there's something out there for me? And he did, and I believe that God works through him, and God leads him and guides him, and he knew what he was doing whenever I went there. I prayed on my way up there that maybe there's just something, or he can figure something out, and it worked. And it's crazy, and I don't really even understand any of it to this day.
I guess you don't have to understand it. You accepted it, and you received it.
Yeah, and I'm just so excited. The last 2 summers, I didn't really get to play with my daughter.
Oh.
It was like, I'm sorry, I got to sit in air conditioning because I can't breathe. And now,
now
we're going to Disney World in July, and we're
how wonderful.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun.
I'm going to just thank God that you had your beautiful healing, and then we'll just feel blessed to know you too. We're equally blessed.
I hope people try it and try something different, and give it a chance.
Yeah. There's always hope. Always hope.
And I never thought I was going to be that person that didn't think that there was hope.
Right.
So I believe that and I didn't really tell very many people that I was sick. I worked through all of this except when I was having my procedures, because I had to work. Nobody else gives me money. I had to work. And so I kind of just went through all this time not really telling people and putting on a tough face. So that makes me wonder how many people out there are like that need something like this, and they're not even telling anybody.
Well, I hope that your message will be heard by a lot of people, and that I have a feeling you're going to touch a lot of people. So we'll be in touch soon, and God bless you, and you're awesome.
Thanks, you guys are awesome.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye.